Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. Today on the podcast, we're talking about changes in leadership, and we're specifically referencing the changes of leadership that are happening in the presidential office here in the United States of America over the next few months. Over the weekend, it was determined that Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States, and on the 20th of January, he will be sworn into office. And there are different groups that have different opinions and see the results in different ways. There is a group of people that are hopeful and excited on the Democrat side, that are very encouraged by this result. And on the other side, there are Trump supporting Republicans that are absolutely devastated by this result, and they believe that this is not a good thing for the country. But there is a third group of people, a group of people in the middle that perhaps voted Democrat simply to keep Trump from winning, and a group of Republicans that voted for Trump, not wanting Trump to get in, but wanting to keep Biden out. And this group in the middle seems to be the largest group of all. And no matter which way you voted, no matter which way the result went for you, there's something very sobering for all of us to remember in this, that a change in leadership only presents us with the opportunity for hope. It doesn't determine anything definitively. So when new leaders come in, whether it be presidents or whether it be in a business, your faith in that leader can only go so far as to be hope. It isn't an actual determination of action. And why this is important to understand is because all the problems that existed before Biden became president or president-elect, and let's be real, before Trump even became president, they still exist, if not more so. The racism is not going to get fixed. The marginalization of women and other minority groups hasn't been fixed, not by Trump, not by Obama, and undoubtedly by Biden. But we live in hope. We are hopeful that Kamala Harris being voted the first female vice president, it absolutely shatters a glass ceiling. But at this point, it's still only representative of what that will become. So I say this to say, please, no matter which side you are on, whether you wanted Trump to win or Biden to win, there is a way to win and lose with dignity and with grace and with respect. At the end of the day, we should be aiming for unity. We should be aiming for our leaders to bring us all together. And I understand how divided so many people are in this country right now and around the world. The same as what I'm saying for here in America is the same as that I see reflected in Australia, the same that I see reflected in other countries where white people dominate. We are divided. This determination of Joe Biden becoming the president actually makes me happy. And the reason it makes me happy is not because I think Joe Biden's going to make a great president. It's not because I think Kamala Harris is going to be the answer to everything. What I think it does is turn the temperature down on a time in history that we are all experiencing to be an ever more increasing hot furnace where I'm not quite sure if we've gone beyond the point of no return. And Trump just seemed to be someone who, while he may or may not have been achieving some of the things that a lot of people are saying he's achieving, one thing he absolutely did do was add wood to a fire that kept burning ever more fiercely. And it was dividing people. So a divided population, whether it be in the country or whether it be across the world, a divided country never comes together. They don't aim to work together. And working together doesn't mean communism. Working together and helping each other out isn't a socialist society. It just means that you care about each other. But what we saw was that people were divided, not wanting to come together. So we have a change in leadership, but the real test will come when we start to see the decriminalization of petty crimes, possession of marijuana, that put a disproportionate amount of people of color in jail. We need to see people released from life sentences for doing petty crimes. Again, disproportionately being unjust to people of color. We need to see the pendulum swing so that when people of color are facing the same kinds of incidences that white people are being faced with, incidences of rape, incidences of financial crimes, etc., and even petty crimes, that there's justice, equal justice. So unless new leadership enacts change that brings equality to people of color, to women, to transgender folk, to people, anyone who is marginalized, until we can even the playing field so that equal opportunity is not something that people have to fight for. It's something that is just present across society, so that we don't have to clarify people as the first woman vice president or the first black person to do something or the first Hispanic person to do something. When that's no longer the way that we approach certain things, then we're headed in the right direction. And leadership is who sets the tone for that. Trump was, whatever your politics is, you can't deny that Trump was divisive in that way. And that doesn't bring people together. And I've said this many times on the podcast, and I'm never going to stop saying it until it stops becoming a reality. While we're living in a society that gives inherent entitlement to people so that they don't have to compete on an even playing field with other people, we're not living in a fair society. And you can argue that all you want. But until you have had to take away, until you've had all your inherent entitlements taken away and been able to compete with people on an even playing field and seen the barriers that are pushed up against you, you're not going to understand what it's like for people who are less fortunate than you purely because of the things that they can't change about themselves. Their race, their gender, their sexual orientation. And these things are important. So let's find ways to come together. Let's find ways, whether we're looking at leadership on a national level or leadership within our own small businesses. Let's find ways to bring people together on even playing field so that everybody can thrive if they want the opportunity to do so. Competition is great. Capitalism is fine. It's important, though, that we don't try and hold some people back just because if we give them an equal chance at success to us, they may actually do better than us. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day. And please be kind to each other.